Hi students, in this video we are going to look a little bit deeper at Yellowstone's 1988 forest fire and use it as a way that we can kind of explain how these four spheres of the Earth system work together. So we're going to kind of create a diagram, something like this is what our goal is. We're going to take this diagram of how each of the spheres, how all these different situations coming from this one big event and work together and affect all of them. So we're going to kind of start here and use this as a guide. So as you did it, you read this earlier, you analyzed the writing, then you watched two videos that further expanded on this situation. So now let's kind of go to it. So start here. Make sure that you are turning your paper here. You just want to start with a plain sheet, put Yellowstone Fire in the middle, put your different spheres on each corner to start, and then let's get going. So first things first is, what was like the starting event that caused this to happen? So if we go back to our reading, it said here that one of the worst forest fires in the park's history began on June 22nd when lightning struck and ignited small clusters of pine trees. So we're looking at lightning here. So lightning striking, and that's going to come from which sphere? So lightning is going to come from our atmosphere. So let's draw a line going here to here. So here we've got a nice lightning strike. Ignites. All right, we can put this trees. So lightning strike ignites the trees. So this is where it's going to start the fire. And then, with the combination of high air temperatures and unusual severe drought and strong winds, the fire quickly spread and began to burn out of control. So now, not only we have this spark, but now we've got winds that are going to fuel the fire. So winds is going to come from where? Well, that's also going to come from our atmosphere. So we've got winds fuel the fire. So we got those winds coming in, fueling the fire. Okay, and then now what's going to happen? We've got this huge, massive fire that's coming, and we got this outbreak. Well, what is it going to do on the biosphere? So the first thing that we read after that is we've got the huge firestorms exploded, sending flames so high in the air that they created their own wind, and the smoke rose some 9,100 meters into the air. Flames devoured the forest and threatened animal and human inhabitants, buildings, and towns in and around Yellowstone. Hundreds of large animals were killed and thousands of elk died during the following winter from lack of food. So here we're talking about they're dying because that immediate dying because they're being smothered or being killed by the fire itself, but then also during the following winter, if you saw this right here, is that's like later on, and so from lack of food. So we've got a couple of things going on here. So we've got where it immediately destroys the plant life and the animals that get trapped in there. So plants and animals are going to be our biosphere. So here we would say that it's going to, the fire kills plants and animals directly. These are the ones that are going to die from the inhalation of the smoke or from the fire itself, the ones that can't escape, and then the plants who clearly can't escape. Then you also get, because their habitat was destroyed, habitat destroyed and food destroyed, that also is going to lead to animal death from starvation Or if their habitat is destroyed, now they're going to be available for predators to come in, and they're going to be food for other predators. And so you've got a lot of animal death coming on from these delayed secondary effects. All right, now let's talk about those short-term effects, kind of go back to from the fire itself. It left large areas of clear ground open to agents of weathering and erosion. Falling ash changed the soil composition, adding plant nutrients to the soil. Now, let's just pause right here because there's a lot going on here, and let's break it down. So let's think about going back here. If we got a fire, what is being produced into the air from a fire? Well, you're getting a lot of CO2, you're getting a lot of smoke, and you're getting a lot of ash that is all released into the air. So if that's going to the air, then which sphere does that affect? Well, that's affecting your atmosphere. So let's draw here, and then I'm just going to turn my paper a little bit here so I can write a little bit better. Here we go. So now we've got CO2, smoke, and ash released in the air. Boom. And then in the reading, it was talking about how that also cleared out some of the areas where now you've got this cleared barren land. So now the wind can come and hit that barren land, and you've got a lot of erosion. So you're going to like sweep away and erode some of the rock and the soil. And so now you've got the wind, which is the atmosphere, that is going to affect the soil and the land. So the land is our geosphere right here, our geosphere. So let's draw a nice arrow coming down here. And then this is where we're going to put, sorry, it's getting a little blurry here. This is where we're going to put that wind erodes the barren land. Wind erodes the barren land. So we think that, okay, this is like a negative thing. We're going to take away the land. But what else did we also say was happening here? That next sentence right here, let me see, that falling ash changed the soil composition, adding plant nutrients to the soil. So that ash that was put up into the atmosphere, ash released up in the atmosphere, is now going to fall back into the land, and it's actually going to provide nutrients for the growing plants. So let's add that here, is that falling ash provides nutrients to the soil. It's like a fertilizer. There we go. And then now, next, what's happening? The nutrients caused new vegetation, including pines, wildflowers, and grasses to thrive. That's pretty cool. So that we've got the soil, which would be our geosphere, is now allowing the plants to thrive. So that would be drawing a line here to our biosphere, is that the fertilized soil allows plants to thrive. The next thing that they talk about is that the ash and eroded sediment also changed the chemistry and increased the sediment load of water in rivers and streams, killing many fish. Okay, well now this is a bummer. This is not good. But now we've got the geosphere. Not only are you getting the ash here, but now you've got this ashy soil that is going to run off and create muddy land that's going to run off into the water. So that, where's that one going to be? Oh, all the way over here. So I'm going to draw a nice, beautiful, long, all the way up here. Boom. And then I'm going to turn my paper up over a little bit so you can see. See, I kind of drew it all the way up to here at Hydrosphere. So now we've got muddy waters from muddy land runoffs. Okay, there we go. But then it also, so now we've got polluted hydrosphere. Well, polluted water is then going to kill the fish. So that hydrosphere fish, which is going to be part of the biosphere. So let's go back down to biosphere here. I'm going to pause so I'm going to turn it over a little bit here, so hydrosphere, so I can write a little bit better. So now we've got polluted water kills fish. All right, now let's also talk about that atmosphere that had ash in the air. That ash in the air is not only going to deposit straight into the land, but it's also going to deposit into your waters alone. So now you're going to get ash deposits into bodies of water. And then that way you're getting pollution that way. Now the other thing is that we think about ash is going to absorb a lot of that moisture in the air. So the fact that you're releasing ash into the air, it's going to absorb whatever moisture is there. And it's already a drought season, like it said in the reading. So now you're getting even drier areas. Okay. Now let's think about that really cool video I just showed you that was very dramatic about the pine cone. And so we learned that the fire itself, this intense heat, actually opens up those pine cones and allows the pine trees to now refertilize the land. So that, we've got pine trees here. So now we're going to be drawing another line from the fire to here. So we've got this negative stuff that's happening, but we also have some good stuff here that's happening. Is that the heat opens up the pine cones. The pine cones. And so now we've got heat opening up the pine cones. The pine cones are going to refertilize, regrow pine cones. You're also getting the fertilized soil allows the other plants to survive. So if now you're repopulating that plant life, secondary, and it may take a while, it takes a few weeks and a month for this to happen, but you're repopulating it. Well, that means you're kind of circling back in here. And so you're getting repopulation of the plants, which will then allow the plants and then animals, because the animals are going to start moving back in because they have new habitats coming back and their food is coming back. So now you're getting this repopulation coming in. And so if we kind of take a peek back at all of this, so we kind of step back and look at what we've just drawn and what we've diagrammed out, we can see that one single disastrous event can actually affect multiple different spheres. And so we can also see that those spheres are all working together. Look at all these connections. Atmosphere to the geosphere, geosphere to biosphere, geosphere to hydrosphere, atmosphere to hydrosphere, hydrosphere to biosphere, and then biosphere reacting to itself. And so all of these spheres are connected. So if we kind of want to take, what is the take-home message? Through the magic of video, we've already jumped to here. So our take-home message is here that we just talked about, that all the spheres of the Earth system work together. Affecting one of the spheres affects all the other spheres. We've also learned that fires can be harmful. We're killing plants directly. We're leading to animal death, but it can also be helpful. We think of our nice little pine cones and we've got fertilized soil. And also that the Earth is extremely resilient. So go Earth.